these videos will make you question reality. So remember, this is for entertainment purposes only. Let's check out some urban legends.
This is a real sign located in Davao, Philippines, and there is a scary urban legend that surrounds it. As you look at the sign, there is a silhouette of two children waving and an eerie instruction stating, "Please wave back." For years, an online debate has raged on. Some locals argue that this sign serves a practical purpose, a gentle reminder that a school lies nearby. Its intention is to urge motorists to slow down and acknowledge any children they may encounter in or around the vicinity. However, some eyewitnesses denies the presence of any school in the vicinity, and they insist that there are wandering spirits of children in the area. It is believed that these apparitions are not pleased when their kindly waves are not returned by people passing their way. There are no reports on what might happen when you don't wave back, but it's probably better to wave back for your own safety, or you might now know that they might haunt you for the rest of your life. This is a real sign.
Even if I don't believe, I'm waving. I might even give you the Miss America pageant wave or whatever they call it. Like, I'm waving, fam. Was the Philippines on my list to visit? I can't remember, but if it is, this might make me remove it right here. Stuff like this. I don't need that type of energy in my life, man.
If you ever hear a whistle coming from the woods, it's probably too late for you. As you may have heard, you should never whistle near the woods at nighttime, or you may attract something sinister to your location, like... However, these creatures are not the only ones that are indicated by a whistle. El Salbon, also known as the Whistler, is said to have been a Venezuelan man who was doomed to become a damned soul after murdering his father or father-in-law, depending on which version of the story you hear. According to one version of the legend, the man had been working on his father's farm when he received word that his pregnant wife had had her virtue questioned and was murdered by his father or father-in-law. He became enraged and killed his father to avenge her death. Upon finding out that he had killed his father, his grandfather teamed up with many of the local farmers to capture and brutally torture the man by first whipping his back and then rubbing salt into the wounds to increase the pain. They then murdered him by sending two huge dogs after him as he fled into the woods. His body was never recovered, so no one really knows what happened to him. However, many people believe that he became a restless soul wandering for eternity, killing any adulterers and drunk travelers that cross his path. Another version claims that he shows up at people's doorsteps with a bag of bones, sets it on the doorstep, and begins counting every single bone. And as the story goes, if you don't listen to the clinking of the bones, your entire family will die. Regardless of the specifics, all versions claim that his presence is declared with the sound of a whistle. If the whistle sounds nearby, he's actually very far away and you're probably safe. But if the whistle sounds far in the distance, he's nearby and it's probably too late for you to escape. If it's any consolation, you'll get to travel a lot as bones in the whistler's sack. That's kind of cool, right? If you ever hear a...
I'm trying to think back, did I ever whistle besides the woods? Like as a kid, teenager, I walk past woods all the time. I don't think I've ever done it. But I can easily see how you could just whistle without even thinking about it, walking past some woods. You can be sure it's going to be on my mind now. Like me and Queen take like walks. Walks, and sometimes they lead late into the evening. It's dark when we're walking, and we're walking past some woods. Some people may even live out in the woods. You know what I mean? So how does that even apply? Like, don't get me wrong. I don't believe in all urban legends, but some of them kind of make you think. You know what I mean? Urban legends. Like, remember the movie Urban? I might go back and watch that for sure, now that I'm listening to Urban Legends tonight.
Okay, so in Trinidad, there is an urban legend surrounding a pregnant woman. According to legend, she passed away during childbirth and she goes by the name of Judalee. It is said that she is in eternal grief due to the loss of her child and walks around late at night in a long white gown with unkempt long dark hair looking for her baby. However,
I'm sorry, but what is up with the white gown? Like, most urban legends you hear about involving a woman or lady of the night or whatever that has either lost a family member or a child or something. They walk around in a white gown screaming. What is up with? It's starting to make me think like the same person is making these up.
However, some people have claimed saying that they have actually seen her holding a baby and that the baby is screaming due to the fact that she is unable to produce any milk for this baby. They say that the baby usually sounds like a cat in heat. Trudy Lee's main victim is a pregnant woman due to the fact that she is envious of a pregnant woman since she wasn't able to carry her baby to term. Another one of her victims are men who cheat on their pregnant wives. She absolutely hates them and she will come after them. And also, if a man is abusive towards his pregnant wife, Trudy Lee will show up and handle business. It can typically be found on a lonely road, usually near a silk cotton tree or near a woman, a pregnant woman that she is currently haunting. Some of the unfortunate people that have come across her do describe her as having grotesque features. They say she has backwards hands, backwards feet, her face disfigured. But according to legend, never ever let your baby cry it out, because if you do, you run the risk of having her come to his aid. Okay, so
it makes sense. This urban legend came from a woman who's been done bad by men. When she said men who cheat and stuff like that, yeah, it let me know right then all I needed to know. Who came up with this urban legend right here? Some woman who's been done bad by men, and she was set out to put out some type of story to get back at them.
For your sake, I hope you are not alone and it's not dark where you are, because I'm going to tell you some urban legends that will probably make you piss yourself. Now, this first one actually terrifies me, and I'm actually getting ready to leave for work and I'm home alone. My roommate is out of town now, so walking outside is going to be a bit of a challenge. But without further ado, let's talk about the Black-Eyed Kids. Now, their origins are pretty much a huge mystery. The first sightings were published around the late 90s. This is when people started reporting seeing them in like rural areas or even on highways, and they appear originally as lost children. So common encounters with them include they will, as I said previously, they appear as lost children, and they will typically ask you something along the lines of, hey, I'm lost, like, can I use your phone? Like, they'll knock at your door or at your car asking for a ride, saying that they're stranded, something along those lines. Now, if you don't respond or don't let them in, they will start to get more and more vicious each time. They'll just keep on trying, like, let me in. They'll just grow increasingly agitated with you. Now, they typically come at night. They'll knock on doors. They'll knock on your window. All sorts of. And one thing that people have tended to like notice with these children is how their skin tone, it's pretty pale, in contrast to like average people, of course, and of course their black eyes. Like, there's no white in their eyes, it's just completely black. Now,
sound like Children of the Corn or something like that, don't it? Don't it?
No one has ever lived to tell the tale if they end up letting these children in. It's reported that they are either cryptids or some type of alien-human hybrid, but as I said before, their origins are pretty much unknown. Now, this next one is a certified hood classic. It's Bloody Mary. If you don't know what that is, then I don't know what to tell you. But this is a huge...
Bloody Mary has been around for so long. Like, how old do you think the urban legend of Bloody Mary is? And I feel like I've said her name too many times, so I'm going to stop right here. Yeah, I still don't mess with that urban legend right there. That's the one that freaked me out as a kid.
A huge part of my childhood back in elementary school, and it actually triggered my fear of mirrors. I hate mirrors. Yep. I will try and cover them as much as possible. I try not to have them in my room and so on. Like, they actually terrify me. And I remember in elementary school, a couple of girls thought it was funny to lock us in the bathroom, turn off the lights, and start chanting her name. And that just pushed my phobia even more. But let's get into the backstory. So this was actually a divination ritual in like historic times, basically. So a woman would walk backwards up a flight of stairs with a candle lit, And when she would look into the mirror, she would be able to see her future husband's face. And sometimes she would see a skull, kind of symbolizing the Grim Reaper, basically meaning she would die before she would be able to get married. And then eventually, Bloody Mary came about. On elementary school, what I was told was that you just had to chant her name 3 times in a dark room in front of a mirror, and then she would appear and kill you. But allegedly, you have to chant her name 13 times with a candle, and this will cause an apparition to appear. She'll either be nice or demonic. Either one. And if you want to test it out, be my guest. No.
I don't care if it's 3 times, 13 times, with a candle, with some fireworks. I don't care. I'm not doing it. Not her. Not playing with her.
Now this next urban legend is a bit lighter. It's the story of Herobrine. This is for all my gamers out there who grew up on Minecraft, because I remember looking up YouTube videos summoning Herobrine, and I would try and do the same thing on my little iPad at the time back in like the early 2010s. Sorry, my eyes are like watering. And it was just such a huge like phenomenon at the time. Like, you just had to be there. So Herobrine was allegedly Notch's dead brother, and he would haunt single-player worlds. Now, what makes this so creepy is if you've ever played Minecraft alone, it can be creepy. Like, you're just in this vast world. Sometimes the ambient music, especially when you're in the cave systems, it can be actually terrifying. I'm not gonna lie. So it's no wonder why this used to scare us so much. Now, the first sighting of Herobrine was actually reported by a 4chan user, and one key thing that players would notice if Herobrine was in their world was trees would be like, how do I explain it? They would be like missing in a sense, like parts of trees would be missing as if someone was already there. I don't know if you know this, but if you've ever played Minecraft, when you cut down trees and stuff, it's pretty apparent. The blocks don't really grow back, or at the time they didn't grow back. So this was like a key thing, and the player spotted Herobrine in the fog, like in the distance, and Herobrine typed out stop and then vanished as quickly, almost as quickly as the player saw him. And this kind of sparked, you know, the ongoing Herobrine theory, and then came the rituals and YouTube videos to summon him in your game. I'm like low-key scared to go outside now because
I'm gonna have to ask my kid. They play Minecraft to death. Like, I don't even know. I think they possibly still do play it a little bit, but they played it a lot, and I never heard of anything. I'm gonna ask them about Herobrine and if they ever knew anything about that, but they never spoke of it to me at all, so I'm not familiar with that urban legend.
After I'm done with this, I'm like heading out to go into work, and I'm just like, my car is like right in the driveway, but I'm just like, I'm still like terrified to walk out, and I need to pee as well, and now I'm scared to pee. Like, now you guys can see how much of a scaredy cat I really am when I'm alone, and I'm like actually scared. A lot of these, like, this video actually feels nostalgic because this was stuff that I grew up with as far as urban legends, and they actually, like, a lot of the phobias I have now stem from these urban legends. Alright, we're done. This is the finished look. I like to keep it simple for work because I'm on my toes, but a lot of patients like compliment my eyes whenever I have this type of makeup on because it just enhances them and enlarges them because I have hazel colored eyes. So
okay, I'm out. Like, no, that was a little bit too much for me as far as the makeup goes, but the stories was pretty good. Salute to her for the stories.
Okay, this story creeps me out so bad that I just, like, think about it periodically. Like, I hate it. I hate this story, so now you have to hate it with me. This is the story of Anora Petrova, also known as Annie. Annie was a figure skater who was doing quite well, and she basically decided that she was going to Google her own name, which, moral of the story is, do not do that, by the way. So once she Googled herself, she finds this Wikipedia page, which, by the way, if you still trust Wikipedia, I don't know what you're doing with your life. I really don't. Side note, I think Wikipedia is a little bit creepy. But anyway, she finds this Wikipedia page, and to her surprise, it's telling her that she's going to basically win her next, like, what is it? What is the thing called for ice skating? Is it like a tournament? Is it like a meetup? I don't remember the name of it. But competition. Let's just use the word competition. It was saying that she was going to win the competition that had not happened yet. So she's sitting there thinking, like, are my parents doing this to, like, give me confidence? What is going on? And she winds up winning this competition. So then she goes back on there again, and she's like, let's see what else it knows. And it just, like, consistently was staying, like, just a little bit ahead of, like, the events that were going on in her life. So then fast forward, this is almost like becoming, like, a little game. She decides that she's going to, like, periodically just go on there and see what it says. And it's predicting all of her wins and all of her losses, and it's correct every single time. So as you know, Wikipedia, you can go ahead and edit it yourself. You can just get in there and do it. So she's like, okay, if this thing knows what's going on, what happens if I edit it? Can I change the course of history or the future, I guess it would be? Yeah, but all of a sudden, when she starts going in there to try to edit it herself, it starts getting mad and it starts saying like crazy stuff about her. So this possessed Wikipedia page is basically what I'm going to call it, ends up saying that Annie is a pathetic little orphan. And I forgot what else, but something to that effect. And then her parents end up dying in a tragic accident. So this just keeps going on, and the Wikipedia page is just out of control at this point. And then one day, she goes on there, Googling herself again as if she didn't already learn her lesson. Would you ever go back to that page? Because
No.
I'm not. But anyway, she goes back on there, and it says that she's going to die friendless and alone. And guess what? She did. So moral of the story, do not Google yourself. Do not look at a Wikipedia page that is about you, because I don't know what AI is doing out here these days. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if it's like possessed. I don't know what's happening, but let's just like not do it, especially this October during spooky season. So obviously, like, I wasn't there when this was happening, so I can't like confirm if the story is true or false, but I do know stranger things have happened. So I want to know, do you believe the story about Annie and the creepy Wikipedia page? Or do you think it's all just an internet urban legend?
Could be an urban legend, bro. But at the same time, I want to Google my name, but I don't want to Google my name now. You know what I mean? I don't want to know. Yeah, I just don't want to know. Imagine opening that Pandora box and it happening exactly like this story in this situation here. No, thank you. Especially if you believe that we're in a simulation and the Wikipedia could be a way for you to see where you're headed next in the simulation, like foreshadowing your future and everything. Yeah. No, thank you, bro. Let it just happen and I'll deal with it as it happens. But me seeing it, And then you definitely, because I know some people are still going to go Google their name. Of course, I know y'all are going to do it. But don't even be in there trying to change nothing if you come across something.
3 urban legends that turned out to be true. Number 1. In the 1980s, parents in Long Island terrified their children with the legend of Cropsey. He was a murderous man who lived beneath an abandoned school and would capture children. But it was later found that the old janitor of the school was still living on school grounds, and it's believed he was responsible for the disappearance of several kids, which made the legend of Cropsey true. Number 2.
See? And when I'm saying see, it's because I'm thinking back to my elementary school days, man. Did y'all have creepy janitors too? I can think of one person. I ain't gonna say his name, but I can think of some creepy ones that was around our school that I was like, bro, you never want to be alone around this person right here at all. You might not make it. I can see his face right now so clearly. And people used to mess with him and pick at him and, you know what I mean, do different things, but I never, no, thank you. No. Other than the occasional nickname, I went no further than that.
Charlie No Face was the terrifying legend of a featureless man who would roam the streets of Pittsburgh at night. But it was discovered that this man did exist. His name was Raymond Robinson. He was a very nice guy, and he only left his house at night as he feared his deformity would scare people. Number 3. Legend has it that
that ain't urban legend. That's just sad. You know what I mean? I feel sorry for him. Not scared. Sorry. Feel sorry for him.
An escaped asylum patient roams near the Fairfax County Bridge where countless amounts of dead rabbits have been found. There wasn't any legitimacy to this legend until a couple drove through this bridge in the 1970s only to find a man dressed as a bunny who threw an axe through their windshield before they got away. 3 urban legends.
Nah, man, I feel bad for Charlie. He don't deserve that. You know what I mean? So I hope people not treating him all kind of different ways, man. I feel bad for the dude.
It's an urban legend that's known throughout Mexico and also the United States. The woman that danced with the devil. Like many other urban legends, there's different takes on the story, like, depending on the region. So the first one I'm gonna talk about took place in Tijuana. And it was about a girl who was rebellious. She liked to sneak out a lot to local discos and clubs and stuff like that. There was this one time where she was partying 2 days in a row, like straight. I guess on that night, she was already feeling tired. She just wanted to go home and rest. But then her friend convinced her to go to another nightclub the following night. She was like, you know what? Okay, whatever, I'll go. And then the next day comes, her mom's telling her not to go because it's basically Holy Week that week, and she wants them to go to church. She doesn't listen. She ends up sneaking out, and she goes to a nightclub called Aloha nightclub. As the night was going, she kind of felt bad for sneaking out, and then she told herself, all right, I'm gonna just take one more shot and then I'm out of here. And then that's when the guy comes, I guess, swoops her off her feet type. They go dance, and they're dancing for a long time to the point where she doesn't remember how much they danced for, like how many songs passed already. They're just dancing the night away. All eyes are on them dancing. The girl notices, she's like looking around and stuff, like, why are they looking at us like that? She ends up looking down. The guy had hooves for feet, and then looks at the guy's face. It's all distorted and devilish looking and stuff. She ends up passing out. The only thing she remembers is waking up to the paramedics, and like the place is on fire. Witnesses say that after she fainted, the devil was laughing and ran to like one of the back rooms and like later disappeared and the place went on fire. And now the second story. This one takes place in Stockton, California. A club called the Flamingo Club. It's an urban legend that's...
Why does this feel like a story that feels like it's a lot of truth to it? You know how you can hear certain stories? You already seen me pick through a few of them. You hear certain stories and you're like, that's fake. That's, yeah, okay, cool. We'll go along. It's urban legend. Cool. Just like to hear a good urban legend. But this, this got a different feeling to it. This feels like it has some truth to it. Let's keep it moving away get far away from this one as possible.
One of the strangest cold cases in the state of Alabama happened in Aub. 6 people went missing in May of 1999. According to the story that was pieced together, James Anthony Reynolds and 5 other people left the Hideaway Club in Aub, Alabama. He was accompanied by Lamar Stackhouse, Valerie McCoy, Evla Lee, Tamara Ward, and Angela Young. The group left the club between 3 and 3:30 in the morning. They traveled together in Lamar Stackhouse's burgundy 1986 Chevrolet Caprice. The group never made it home and they were reported as missing persons. It took a little over 4 months for investigators to find the car submerged in the Pea River in Coffee County, Alabama. 5 of the 6 people were found inside the car. James Reynolds was not. Authorities searched the river and the area for any signs of Reynolds. He was never found. Investigators would then say that Stackhouse's vehicle would end up in the river due to a single car accident. And as a reminder, that's where the official story stops and conspiracies begin. There are countless other theories that you can find scattered across the internet. People have been poking holes in this case for years. Because Reynolds was on probation for drug trafficking, many people think that there is some form of alternate justice, believing that the group may have been stopped before they ever reached their destination. Others have also pointed out the shaky details around the car being found in the water, which obviously should have shown signs of being underwater for over 4 months. Some locals even say that even the way that the bridge and the road is made, that it would have been near to impossible for the car to end up in the water. While the conspiracies are mostly speculation, one thing remains true. Someone knows what happened that morning. And maybe one day someone will do the right thing and give those families the closure that they deserve. One of the strangest cold cases.
Stories like this, bro, give me the chills, man. And especially the ones that are unsolved. And everybody in that area knows about it. And you have to live with that and think about that type of stuff. So then when loved ones go out or go to a club, you can't sleep at night, you're worried. You're stressed out. This type of stuff causes stress, puts stress on an area, a town, a city. Like this type of stuff, like my son, this just 2 days ago. 1, 2, 3, 4. I want to say it was 4 or 5 people from school in a car wrecked. 2 of them didn't make it. 2 or 3 of them didn't make it. 2 of them were in like critical condition, and the other one is like didn't really sustain any injuries, man. Just sad stuff like that. You know what I mean? That puts a damper on the entire city. These are the urban legends and stuff like that that really get to me. You know what I mean? But listen, man, y'all get at me in the comment section and let me know of some different urban legends from around your city. Leave a like, Share the video, subscribe, and stick around and stay tuned, man. Till next one, I'm gone.